Thy will be done. Thy will be done.
Dear God, I need you right now, and I just pray that you'll.
Some of us are walking around and you're a perfect storm. Some of us are walking around and you're a perfect storm for the devil. You're in a perfect storm for the devil. What do you do with a little baby? I would say a young child who the father doesn't hug him and the mother doesn't hug him. The aunties and the uncles, they don't pick him up, they don't kiss him. Everybody ignores him, right? And he yearns for what? He yearns for attention. You know what's about to happen? He's vulnerable. He's vulnerable. So, when that old man get out the truck, they say, come here, give me a hug. What do you say? It's going to be very difficult for him to fight off the hug because he's what? He was already weak. So what do you do when what you're looking for and what you want is coming from an unreliable source, but you're too weak to say no because you're so focused and yearning for what you want, you're forgetting the vessel in which it's coming in. And so you're weak. So there are some people that should have never come into your life. Matter of fact, if you were strong, you would have never given that person the time of day. You would have never listened to that business deal. You would have never sat down at that lunch. You would have never picked up that phone. You would have never even inquired about that information. But because you were vulnerable, you listen longer. Did you know that? Have you ever been strapped for money and then somebody comes to you and say, hey, listen, there's another way and we can do this little thing. And then all of a sudden you say, okay, so all I gotta do is send my money, you know. And it don't sound right. But you start talking to yourself, but man, if I can get that, then I can really get out of this situation. Do you know how, what's the television show, American Greed? Mm-hmm. American Greed, you have people who are desperate for money. And if you ever watch the show, they're really in legitimate businesses. And if they would just go straight, they wouldn't even get in any trouble. But the problem is, they were so hungry or greedy or really something that they didn't have growing up. And now they're chasing for it. They're in trouble. When you're vulnerable, it is not good to make life decisions. And the Bible says the Lord is our buffer. The Lord knows when you're getting weak. Sometimes the Lord will pull you back from certain things. Sometimes the Lord will slow certain things. You know what? There are some sicknesses that I honestly believe that the Lord will have given us because you are on your way to destruction. You are on your road to making some real bad decisions. And if you didn't slow down, and then somebody said, I'm in this bed, I didn't want to be in this bed, but since I've been in this bed, I have been forced to do a whole lot of thinking. Since I've been in this bed, I've been forced. You know what? Have you ever been put in a situation where you said to yourself, okay, since I'm in this place, you start rethinking everything. You start rethinking about your relationship. You start rethinking. And you know what? You know when we get our strength back? You may be vulnerable. You know when we get our strength back? We get our strength back when we self-inflict ourselves. The moment we make a mistake, have you ever noticed we get real strong? The moment you slip, the moment you do something you're not supposed to do, you were weak all the way to the wolf. And then when the wolf had its way, then you woke up and now you super, you're shooting everything inside you. You have all this energy. Why is it that we get real strong after sin? Why is it that we become super Christians after sin? Do you know when you need to cut off your phone? Do you know when you need to cut off your Facebook? Do you know when you're headed down? Matter of fact, if we're in tune with ourselves, you can feel I'm not in a good place. Have you ever felt that spiritually? Have anybody ever said that to yourself? You know what? I'm going to worship. I'm reading about, but I'm not healthy. I'm not in a good place. And you know what? Many times we don't spend much time thinking about it because we such on our schedules. We get up in the morning, we keep going, but we keep telling ourselves, I'm not healthy, I'm not healthy, I'm not in a good place. Your thoughts are off. And you'll start having thoughts that are now in far left field. And they start being weird. And you say, man, I can't shake it. And all of a sudden you get these feelings and the feelings don't start going away. And you start saying, I'm not in a healthy place. I'm not in a good place. When you get to that part, and the beautiful thing about God is God knows each and every one of us. And he knows how to send the people. He knows what to do to care for each and every one of us.
He knows all the answers.
He really does. The problem is when you don't know yourself. When you know what you need and when you know what you don't need, then communicate that to the people that are in your environment. Let them know, because I'm reaching out to Brother McDuffie and he ain't answering the door, and I see him through the Brother McDuffie, and he turned up the television, and I'm outside like, and I'm feeling neglected, like he just ignored me. And then it becomes a burden on him that he has to, after he comes out of the storm, now he's good with a smile, and I got stanky face. All because of misunderstanding.
Yeah.
When people hit walls, they leave their children. When people hit walls, they leave their families. When people hit walls, just looked on the news not too long ago, man got fired from Bank of America. He couldn't deal with it, and he committed suicide. And his wife was sitting on the news and was like, it was just too much for him. He didn't cope well with it because his job was his identity. So when they took the job, he lost himself, and he didn't know who he was in the family. So he thought it would be better. You hitting the wall and your reaction is not necessary. And all of us have hit walls, but there are some things in life that are too much for the heart. And if too many things happen all at the same time, that's why you got to be very careful when you talk to certain people and how you treat certain people, because you don't know all the things that are going on in a person's life when they walk through these doors. You don't know all the stuff that they're dealing with, and you don't know the stuff that they're going to have to deal with when they walk out of here. They came for an hour of peace. They came for an hour of love. And they don't have time for foolishness. And that's why it can be real frustrating in church, because I came here for peace and I'm fighting here. I'm looking for a safe place to be. You got to be real careful how you approach people. I could talk to you this morning and be like, you there, and come to you that same way in the evening and be like, and I've just offended you. And I'm saying, what's wrong with you? Because in the morning we were laughing, joking, having a good time. But it don't take a moment where something just gets to you and you just say, I'm through. How many of you have quit but never got up out of your seat? But you said to yourself over and over again, if I could just walk away. If I could just, this is just too much. But you stay there, and people don't know you on the edge. People don't know that you're just right there on the brink. So what do you do when you're really tired and you're stretched? What phone call do you make? There's a person in your phone that you would pick up and that you would normally call. And God observes that. Am I your first response? Ain't that a show called First Response or something? It's the Lord.
First responder.
First Responders? Is it ERS?
ER.
Oh, okay. I saw part of the show or something. I've never seen it. Right? Is the Lord the first one that you call? Or is he an afterthought? That moment when you're tired and you're irritated and you're stretched, is it difficult to be in silence and talk?
As it is